My name is Sarah Ondak. I am a sophomore here at Stanford, double majoring in art practice and communications. And how did I get there? Well, I was a rower in high school, and that's kind of how I got to Stanford. I was recruited. Athletics was basically my life. And then my freshman year, I got super duper injured. There's actually no tissue between some of my vertebrae, so there's like bone on bone rubbing together, which is not super duper fun. So I got here and I couldn't do the thing that I loved and the thing that had defined me for 5 years of my life. So I wasn't competing, I wasn't really practicing with my team, and that was kind of heartbreaking for me, and I had to find another way to express myself and another outlet to channel my energy into, because my sport was not really cutting it for me. Like, I couldn't do what I loved. I had to find something new that I loved. And so I'd always kind of thought of like photography as this romantic, like, oh yeah, I'd love to do that someday. But I never really had quite pursued it. I just kind of thought of it as like maybe in the future. And then I thought, well, I'm at Stanford. Why would I not do it now? This is the perfect time. Like, this is a place where I can pursue any dream that I have. And my dream is to be a photographer. That's what I want to do. So I somehow wound up in a totally random CS class that was actually a photography intro sem, and spent all of spring quarter just like messing around with a super duper nice DSLR, and that's kind of how I began this journey into photography. That's when I first joined Mint, actually. I was taking photos, got the email newsletter calling all artists, and I emailed my pitch to them and I said, hey, I think this is a really cool idea and I'd love to work with you guys. And they took it, which was a complete surprise. So I've just kind of been stumbling my way through all of this, and that's kind of how I ended up here. Something about Mint that has always kind of really been attractive to me is how it's provided me a way to like be intentional with what I do. I'm in photography classes now, but I wasn't always. So, I have assignments and things like that. But back in the day when I was just kind of messing around with the camera, and especially in the spring when I was literally just learning how to use one, I used my pitch and used Mint as a way to kind of shape my focus. Like, okay, this is the theme, this is what we're doing, this is the ideas that we're trying to convey. And then I could take that as inspiration for my own work, and I could move it in my own direction. And so I'd have this thing that was channeling what I was going to do. And so in that way, I could take the ideas that Mint gave me and form it into my own interpretation, which I think is pretty cool. One reason that I care very deeply about Mint, I guess in general, is because of the way in which fashion can convey identity and expression and who you are. And the clothes you wear says so much about who you are, and especially at Stanford, where it's hard to always find a space for yourself, especially in the beginning when you're like, who am I, and now I'm here, and what does that mean? The clothes that you wear can always just be an outlet to show who you are, and that's something that I care very deeply about. So the fact that Mint provides a space where you can see how other people express themselves is super duper cool, and I think it's a way to display a really cool part of the Stanford community.